share. Tamara and Sharon, a duo prepared to light up the path, to bridge every gap. Access meets opportunity, there's no turning back. Forward with fortitude, the future's in sight. Together we rise like stars in the night. Authenticity reigns, love leads the way. We're speaking in harmony every single day. Speak harmony, let your voice intertwine. So let's move forward, ever bold and true. With Sharon and Tamara, the vision breaks through. Speak harmony where hearts align.
Speak harmony where hearts collide. Goodness gracious, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Speak Harmony, where we would just want to thank Mr. APAP over there, Mr. P, for just bringing this platform to life every single week. We look forward to this, Tammy. I mean, when I tell you, I am so grateful. APAP Media, the full service creative video and photo production company specializing in podcasting, guys, multi-camera recording and live streaming. Listen, you all can contact him at info@apapmedia.com. Mr. P, we're grateful. We thank you. Blessings for APAP. Without this platform, Tammy, I don't know. It's the happening place every single Tuesday from 7 to 8 p.m. We're grateful. Wow.
Absolutely. It's a wonderful day to be here. We're grateful again for APAP, for our guests, for those of you who are watching. Hello and welcome to Speak Harmony. We're so excited to have you join us. Today it's dreary here in Georgia, but we are bringing the sunshine in with these island people. We've been having some background talks and just,
Yes.
life in the islands and what we think about what it should be and what it could be. So we're just excited today to have our wonderful guests on. And
Yes.
we're also excited for just to be here, to be alive.
Yes, we really are grateful. Sunshine in the studio, APAP Media. Well, without further ado, we want to start with our first guest because we're talking about island folks. Man, we talk about this young lady. She's from the beautiful, the amazing island of St. Lucia. Cindy Placide, are you there? Oh, there she is,
Yes,
Jamie.
I am.
How
Look at
are
her.
you?
I'm
Island
doing
girl.
absolutely amazing.
Awesome,
Absolutely amazing.
awesome. Well, we're not going to waste time because you're packing some weight this evening, and we want to have you offload for us. Okay, we want you to share with us. You migrated from St. Lucia, where you came to the States to further and pursue your dream of the literary arts, and so you have done so in so many different fashion ways and places and spaces. You've broken all sorts of records. And I mean, one of your mainstays, I spoke to you at length a few days ago. Autism, it's Autism Awareness Month. And let me just say that we don't take that lightly because a lot of us from the islands, especially, autism was not something we spoke about because growing up, Tammy, and you can attest to this, I'm sure, that autism was not a thing that we knew of. We literally thought people had issues and we didn't know what it was. We didn't have it. I don't think we had a name for it then.
We didn't have a diagnosis. Growing up in the Caribbean, people just thought,
Something is
some
wrong. You're
disability
malfunctioning.
that you had, something is wrong with you. But
Yes.
we didn't have a label back then. We didn't
No.
have the spectrum. We
No.
didn't have the ability to diagnose, number one, or treat coming from the islands. In the Caribbean, we're just taught that we're going to hold the child back and not have the appropriate tools to help the child succeed. We didn't have the understanding of verbal or nonverbal autism. There are so many different things that goes along with autism, and how we can now treat and evaluate autism, because there's Asperger's, there's so many other things to
So many different
autism.
levels of
But
it.
we are going to allow our
Hello.
guests to be the one
Yes.
to talk about it and go into that.
And who better? Because I mean, you have this, I mean, experience. I mean, you know firsthand about this, Cindy. So dive right into it. Autism. I mean, what's your take on it? Your experiences, your challenges, because you've had them all. Talk to us.
Yes, I want to say thank you for having me on, ladies. It's such a pleasure to be on here. And I want to say thank you for all our guests for tuning in. I'm telling you tonight, within 30 minutes and also the rest of the hour, I'm going to be, we are going to have an impactful show. So with that said, oh my God, why am I nervous?
Don't be. We're just family.
This
We
is
are
family.
here. This is
Yes, with
liming. Let's
that
think about it
said,
as liming there in Lucia. How we're used to having that conversation. We're all family, and we're here to support you in this journey that you will take on together. And
Yes.
it's just talk to us about why are you so passionate about autism.
Yes.
okay, so there we go. So I am an autism mom. I have a 16-year-old who has been living with autism. He was diagnosed when he was 2 years old, and at first I did not know what was wrong with him. He started to do the normal things that children do. He was eating, he was asking me about certain things, he was eating everything you could think of underneath the sun, like my oldest son. And all of a sudden I see him started to regress. And I said, something is not right here. There's something wrong with my child. And I spoke to the doctor about it. They said, oh, he's fine. And when he was close to 2 years, and I'm going like, oh no, something is definitely wrong. He's not eating the foods that he was eating. He was very picky. He was nitpicking. He didn't want this. He didn't want that. He was not making eye contact. He wasn't doing a lot of things that children his age were doing. And of course, I have an older son who was older, about 12 years old at the time. I'm going like, that is not normal. So I called the doctor and I made an appointment and I said, my son is sick. That was a little lie, but
Mm.
I said, my son is sick. They made an appointment. So when I went in the office, the doctor asked me, what is wrong with your son? What is going on with him? And I said, he's not sick. I need to know what's going on with my son because he's not speaking. And I said, I am not leaving this office until you give me answers, until I find out what is wrong with him.
That's right.
And so he took his time, evaluated my son, and then he said, I will refer you to a speech therapist. I'm going like, okay. He said the speech is delayed. So when I went to the speech therapist, long story short, when I got the prescription and I went to the speech therapist told me, your son is showing signs of autism. Now, this is the first time I've ever heard of autism. And I was like, okay. So I'm going to refer you to a psychologist. When I did go to the psychologist, he was diagnosed on the spectrum as being um no from the moderate to severe autism. And at that moment I broke down.
Hmm. As a mom,
And
it's
I said,
hard.
yes.
It is very hard
And I
to hear
asked,
that.
yeah, and when I asked her what autism was, it was like, what am I gonna do? I took a minute. She took gave me a few minutes and then I just snapped out of it and I'm going like, what can we do to help him? And that's where the
I'm glad
journey
you were an
began.
advocate. I'm glad that you understood. And most times, when children are 2 years old, that's when we develop. We understand that development will change, because most times children are walking and talking by two. And as a special needs mom as well, I understand that journey that you've gone through. And it is very important for us to be an advocate. And I'm sure even now you're an advocate for your son. It's very important. But kudos to you, mom. Kudos to you, Cindy, for taking the time to go to the doctor and understanding And many times it's hard for us to swallow that pill when people tell us our child is not normal, is not communicating effectively. There are so many things that goes into that. But tell us, how have you pivoted from that diagnosis when he was 2 to now that he's 16? What has that journey looked like for you?
It has been an uphill battle, but it has been one of the most humbling experiences for me. It has taught me patience that I didn't think I had. His father did not accept his diagnosis. And so his father and I broke up at the age of when he was 2 years old, after about 2 years old. And I had to do it all on my own. I had to be his voice, I had to be his ears, I had to be his eyes. I had to understand what it meant to have sensory issues.
Mm-hmm.
He was not walking properly, he was walking on tippy toes. I had to understand what that meant. He had to take occupational therapy, speech therapy. He had to take there's another one he took. I forgot, my memory is
Physical
not good.
therapy,
But
yes.
yes, he had a lot of therapy, and every 2 days a week I was up and down. And I wasn't driving, I didn't have a mode of transportation. So I had to find ways for him to be able to do it on my own. And the meltdowns were like, it was a
Mm-hmm.
lot.
How did
There are
you
times,
handle that's it? You're about to say it, but I'm going to jump ahead of you, though, Cindy, because as soon as you said that to me, what you just said to us made me angry, and I'm going to tell you why. Because there are a lot of people watching right now, and when a doctor says to you, "Your child is okay," I love what you said because we spoke, and you're an advocate. This is what she said, Tammy. She's an advocate and she's fighting and she's going to continue to fight for her children. That's what good
Mm-hmm.
parents do. So shame on you that you had to walk away. He had to walk away from you at that point because a lot of times it's pride. And especially where we're from, our culture, it's a problem. It's like, oh my God, it's embarrassing. It's whatever that looks like. Okay.
It's machismo
And
for
if,
men.
yes, but you know what?
It's the thing.
It's unfair. It's unfair to you. So you know what? Your mental health took a beating, I see. But you know what? When I tell you you're a giant, Cindy, that you stood up, and I'm surprised you didn't slap one of those doctors right there. And yes, I said it. Because when a doctor tells you that there's nothing wrong with your child and you have your child and you know there's something wrong, I like what you've done. So tell us, how did you, because mentally I would have lost it. I'll be honest. I would have lost it. So going from, like Tammy says, from 2 to 16, that's a whole lot of time there. I mean, how did you cope? What kind of coping mechanism did you use? I mean, support groups. I mean, how do you manage with that? Because you said you weren't driving. So goodness gracious, and you don't look like what you've been through, but I'm sure you've been through a lot. So tell us more
I
about your coping mechanism, your community. What did that look like?
I had been through a lot, but my church community, my congregation helped me a lot. At first, they did not understand what autism, and some people, I wouldn't say people in the congregation, but some people outside, they thought that my child was misbehaved. My child was misbehaving. I was bringing him up wrong, and they used to criticize me. I used to go to the store with my son, and people used to watch when he used to just fall on the floor, and we just couldn't get him up. Or it it was a lot
Yeah.
to throwing yourself down on the floor, to not being able to stand the certain sounds when we go to the store, and then he have to put his hand on his head, and then he would just make those sounds, and people were just looking, and this lady said, "You need to bring up your child properly." And I said, "Ma'am,
Mm-hmm.
he is autistic, he has autism." And she looked at me like I was crazy. And this is sometimes when you're ready to slap somebody, God just pulls something over you. Say, My child, I got you. Okay. So I had to calm down a lot in situations. There were times my son would just run away. There was a certain incident where he was like about 5 years old, and she talked about mental health. My mental health took a beating. it took a beating because I had to deal with everything. The waking up in the night, the teaching him how to use the potty, the teaching him how to eat certain foods, when he's throwing his tantrums, when he cannot understand something and then he starts to react. And I had to deal with everything. And I remember one time my blood pressure, I never had blood pressure before. And my blood pressure was up the roof. And then I decided to just take a nap. Just take a nap, just for me. I didn't even know when I fell asleep. And my child, he was so smart. I had pulled a chair and I had a chain at the back of my door. And he pulled that sofa, not a chair, the sofa. He pulled the sofa. He took the chain off the door and he ran across the street. Now, if you all know anything about Austell Road
Whoa.
in Georgia,
Mm.
you all know that that street is a busy street.
Busy. Yes.
Yes. And that child ran up, and it was a Saturday morning,
No
Mm.
way.
and that child
Busy.
ran across the street. And when I got up, instinctively mothers have those instincts, and I got up, I'm going, where's no one? So I run to the bathroom, right here. He's not there. I said, oh my
Mm-hmm.
God. So I was in my 90s. I ran out the door without shoes. And I said, where is my child? And I'm looking crazy. And my older son said, Mom, he's not there. And we're looking. When I got to the leasing office, somebody said to me, is that your child you're looking for? We saw the child run across the street. She said, somebody picked him up. I'm going like, oh
Oh my
my
God.
God.
Mm.
That was
Fa-
my worst nightmare. I thought I was going to lose it. But then she said, somebody took him to the police station. We found out somebody took him, not to the police station, but to the hospital.
To the
Thank
So
God.
then the
hospital.
cops got involved and whatever, they want statements and whatever. So when they saw I had all the precautions I'd already taken for him, they were really sympathetic with me. And then
Good.
they said, okay, Mama, we would advise you to put a deadbolt on your door and put a camera. And that was not the only instance where
It's hard.
It's okay. It's okay. We're
And even
family and
now,
we
it's
understand.
hard.
How did your
So,
son, though, I mean, manage? Because it's one thing you're dealing with this kid by yourself with God's help and, some of the people understood in the community. But how did your son manage? Because, I mean, autism is not something that you wake up one day and you know what it is. I mean, I'll be honest, I'm just now learning more about autism. I mean, I've known about it, but I really don't know anything about it. Let's just be clear about it. So how did your son respond to him and the patience it must have taken? How did that work in your household? What did that look like? Because I can't imagine dealing with it. I cannot.
it was he was a teenager and it was really difficult for him. He suffered all the pains and even more of what I went through. He was my rock.
mm-hmm.
When I felt I couldn't do it, he was there with me. And there are times when he couldn't do it, he would just stay out of the house. He was not a bad kid, he was not getting into trouble. He just needed to stay away because he didn't want to see me deal with all of that.
The coping
And he
mechanism
couldn't
that.
understand, yes.
Yeah.
And he couldn't understand how his brother was that way, you know. And it took a lot of love,
Yes.
a lot of patience,
Absolutely.
a lot of explaining, a lot of research
What about
to
therapy,
help him.
though? Mental health therapy. I mean, was there any?
At that time, neither of us could afford it.
It's hard. There are no resources
Don't let me
when
cry on
their
air.
diagnosis. So there is the institute that is there in Atlanta, the Marcus Institute that is there for autism. However, when children outgrow a certain age, so from 0 to 5, there's babies can't wait that helps them. But when you exceed that, there is not a lot of resources available, especially not 15 years ago, not 16 years ago, and in my case, not 20 years ago. Again, being the mom of a special needs child and having an older child who had to, even though it's 4 minutes, but help to take care of it, that guilt that we go through as moms that we don't think about. We're like, but the child is there and they're helping us and everything else. There are no resources specifically back then, 15 years ago, that would help children with autism or people with special needs cope and go through that. And so we had parent advisory groups if you were lucky enough that you could be a part of a parent advisory group. But they weren't enough to say, I'm here to support you. Here are the resources that we have. It's a very difficult, and even now we have autism awareness, and we talk about these things. We talk about the blue bucket. We talk about the stop signs and different things like that. But we don't have a true mental awareness that happens, and it's not just for the child or the person who's affected by autism, but it's the family. Because even now, 16 years later from the diagnosis and everything else, Cindy is still grieving, because you
Yes.
grieve as a mother about your child being normal. You grieve about the life that you hope for your child being born to live and go through. You grieve to understand, and I'm speaking from a personal standpoint now, if I pass away tomorrow, what happens to my special needs child?
And
Wow.
that is one of my biggest fears.
Yeah.
If I happen to pass away tomorrow, what happens to him? And
Oh,
that's where a lot of people don't understand. You have to do your research. You have to push. You have to ask questions. You are going to get fight done from so many different places because people think they know your child better than you do. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have to stand up and say, this is not what I am going to tolerate. This is what I want for my child. I
yes.
remember that my son he was misbehaving at school because he was really started to get really aggressive, and they used to call me at the school. I used to put him on the bus at 6 something in the morning, and by 8 o'clock the teachers are calling me and tell me they cannot handle him. Come and get him. And so that happened, and I wasn't working, so I couldn't work because I had him. And so
Was he in a
I that
special
happened.
school, Cindy? Was that a special
No,
school?
he was in a special needs
Little
class.
Class. Okay.
Yes.
it's a
Okay.
Yes.
cluster,
And
yes.
so,
Okay.
yes. And so I was, and he can't stand this thing. So I got to learn that a little later. So, that she used to call me, and there was one point I was like, oh my gosh, I can't deal with this. So he had to go on a field trip one day. And then the teacher said to me, Noah is misbehaving. He can't go on the trip.
What?
Now at that time I was pregnant with my daughter who is now deceased. I'm
Sorry.
gonna what? You know, when you have pregnant, you have your hormones going everywhere. I'm gonna, what do you mean he can't go on? And I says, okay, provide a professional for him. It was like,
Mm-hmm.
he is not going on that tree. So I went, I did my research, and I found a group on Facebook. Sorry, my glasses trying to fall
That's okay.
out. I um I found a group on Facebook and I asked a question, and then they gave me my answer. And I said to them, listen, I am not telling you. I'm not asking you for my son to go on the trip. I am telling you he's going
Mm-hmm.
on that trip.
Good.
And I'm going to call the superintendent.
Good.
Before
Yes.
I could call her, she said, and I said, I know this is what you have to do. This is what you have to do. And
Mm-hmm.
before I could call them, they said, ma'am, don't worry about it. Your son is going to be going on the trip. I said, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Your
it. But you went
IEPs.
into writing, though. She went into writing because you're a poet, you're an
Mm-hmm.
author, you've authored 3 books,
Yes.
3 books. And, I mean, honestly, to take the patience, having children, an autistic child in that mix, I mean, and writing. I mean, you have to maintain a job because you're the breadwinner in the household. I mean, how did you do it? I mean, this is one of your books up here on the screen, A Mighty Calm. And I'm thinking, I look at you and that's what I see, Cindy. I see a
Mm-hmm.
mighty calm person because, girlfriend, like I said and I meant it, I would have lost it. I would have smacked someone. I would have gotten in trouble because I would slap the nonsense out of someone to tell me about my child. Okay?
I
And
became I became suicidal.
oh my gosh, no way.
Mm-hmm.
I
Wow.
became suicidal. You see, my before I had my son, I was raped as a child. I was sexually abused, I was raped, I was molested, I was physically abused, and I had carried all that trauma with me. So when I had an autistic son, everything was mounting. I was never getting any therapy. So I became suicidal. I tried to take my life 6 times.
But
And
God.
it was that autistic son who saved my life that last time.
Amen.
And every day since.
Yes. And you know what? Writing is my therapy.
Mm-hmm.
Is my therapy. That first book, When Life Stood in Silence, I put almost every pain that I was feeling in that book. every hurt that I was feeling. All my poems are about the deep seated pain and hurt that I was feeling, the trauma that I'd been through, all the rape, the molestations, the denials, everything. I put that book into when I stood in silence, and I poured my heart out into that book.
Yes.
And that gave me a bit of solace, a bit of solace. And I went on to write my second book, A Mighty Calm, where I had finally found courage to be, to try to get to where I wanted to be in life. I built
Mm-hmm.
my confidence, my self-esteem had grown. And along the way, I had lost my daughter and I went into depression. And of course, the suicidal thoughts were always there. Like, I said, I tried 6 times. But that book, A Mighty Calm, it gave me purpose. It made me see myself, my vision, who I was and who I could be. And I developed a powerhouse within myself. I developed that strong, my friend would say that strong city. I developed a strong city, a strong backbone.
Mm-hmm.
And I became my strength from where I was then to where I was now. I call myself being unstoppable.
You are. You are,
God
Cindy.
has provided you with that unstoppable
He has.
feeling,
He
that
really
and he the
has.
tenacity that you have. God sees you and he knows, as I saw when you talk about faith being a part of those books, a part of your journey, that it had to be faith, the faith in God that you have, and he's carrying you now and he's covering you and your sons and your children as you go through this journey. I applaud you for being an advocate. I applaud you
Yes.
for speaking out, for being a survivor, because you're showing up and you're giving hope to so many women who are hearing your voice today. So many survivors who have gone through rape, who have gone through
Yes.
that sexual and physical abuse, who are seeing you today, pretty as you are,
Standing.
the
Yes.
light that you are shining,
Yes.
and they see you and they know that there is a God. And they know that whatever it is that they're going through right now, that they can get through it.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I thank you. I thank you for your voice. I thank you for the words that you put on those papers and allowed to share your story with so many others. And we're going to put up on the screen so people can
Yes.
find out how to
How they can,
see,
yes, yes. How
how
can
can
they
they
get in touch
read
with
these
you? How can they
books, how
connect
they
with
can
you?
hear you
Yes.
speak even more, because this is just the beginning of the story that we're telling right now. This is only the beginning as we find the voice, as we share your voice, and as you give voice to the voiceless, not only to your son who is voiceless, but to so many women who are suffering in silence of
Look at that
depression,
beautiful
of
woman.
suicidal ideations, and things like that. We thank you for being honest and coming through and saying that and reaching out. And we thank you for those 6 attempts not being successful, because
Yes.
there you are today,
Yes.
gracing us with your presence and your smile and your tenacity. So we
Okay.
commend you and we salute you as a
Thank you.
survivor.
Thank
Go
you so
ahead.
much. One of the turning points for me as well was when I started my show on
Your
Facebook.
podcast.
I
Yes.
was able,
Mm-hmm.
yes, my podcast, and to just hear the different stories, the different experiences that people go through. It has given me resilience. It has given me a strength beyond what I could think about. And that strength does not come just from me, it comes from God. To know that He has sustained me through all of this. And when
Yes.
I hear people call and they say, Cindy, your experience has empowered me. It has inspired me. I know that I'm doing something right. I'm going to continue to stand up for those who cannot speak for themselves. I'm going to
Great.
continue to stand up for those moms who, when they are given those diagnoses of autism, they have no idea what to do. I have helped so many women, so many people just accept the fact that, okay, this is what it is. And not
Will
only
be
does my son have autism, he has ADHD and a special kind of another thing on the spectrum called hyperlexia. It's a higher than normal ability to understand letters and numbers rather than spoken words. So even if my son understands a lot, but I still have to, his comprehension is very difficult. So I have to break it down with him through pictures. So it has been a battle, but my work as an advocate for autism, for mental illness, for suicide prevention, and for dwarfism, which my daughter was born out of and passed away from, it has taught me so much. It has taught me, and it has given me even more empathy for people, not just who have autism, for all those people who are going through some disabilities, and more importantly, the parents who are suffering in silence and don't have a space to talk about it.
Well, before we go, Cindy, I just want to say to you, again, like Tammy said, I applaud you for being the advocate, for being the mom, for being that Harriet Tubman, modern day Harriet Tubman, fighting for your son and not giving up and not being successful on those suicide attempts. But I'm going to say there are people out here who are watching you right now and who will be watching you because they're going to go back and look at this podcast and they want to be able to connect with you. Let us know how those folks can connect with you. Let them know, because not only that, I'm hearing it from you. I see it in your future, very near future, those books that you've written. People are going to be reading them. But not only that, they're going to use them to save their families from the disaster that they've been through. And I'm not a medical professional by any stretch, but guess what? Based on a little bit that I read, trauma leads to more trauma. And so a lot of us have had unresolved trauma. And if we have never dealt with it, and because of our background, our culture, if we never dealt with it, there are things that have traumatized us during our upbringing. If we never went and sat with a trauma specialist, a mental health therapist, a psychologist or whatever, it's unfortunate, but it just continues. And then it goes into our adult life, and then it affects everyone. So guess what? Give the folks your connections, please. I mean, your contact, because there are people watching right now who are about to give up. Families that have been broken up, and they're going to hear your voice, and they're going to continue to hear your voice ring out loud. And those marriages and relationships are going to be saved because of Cindy Placide, because of what you've been through. You're going to help thousands of people, millions of people, perhaps. So go ahead and give them your contact as we wrap up, please.
Yes, if you would like to reach me, my telephone number is 404-452-8674. That is my personal number. If you would like to send me an email and you don't want to call, you can email me at mizplacide@gmail.com. If you want to get one of my books, you can go to cindyplacid.com, or you can go to rise-to-prosperity.com. And if you want to come on my show, Poetry and Perspective with Placid, and tell your story so that you could relieve your burden and let people know that, you going through the similar situations, you are not alone. So you can just reach out to me, send me a message on Facebook. I'm Cindy Placid on Facebook, and you can reach me there. And I always respond to my text, to my telephone calls, no matter what it is. Or you can reach me on WhatsApp as well.
Goodness gracious. Wow. Cindy, you bring new light and energy to Speak Harmony. And I'm telling you, I'm cracking because of what it is. It's pretty emotional because I see you, my sister. I see you. So thank you so much for gracing us with your presence. We appreciate you. Thank you.
And thank you both for having me.
Yes.
Appreciate it.
We'll talk soon.
Can you go ahead and just repeat your contact, please? So slowly, your telephone number, people are listening in and they want to get in touch with you. I told you. So slowly say your name again, your email,
My name,
your telephone contact, and so on.
my name is Cindy Placide, with an E at the end, CindyPlacide. My telephone number is 404-452-8674. And my email address is mizplacide@gmail.com. You can reach me on my website, cindyplacide.com. You can also email me. I forgot to say one other email, rise to prosperity 0615 @gmail.com. You can also reach me on WhatsApp. And just reach out to me. And I'm Cindy Placid on Facebook as well. So just reach out to me. I'll be more than happy to listen and to give you any piece of advice that I can, and to be a shoulder to cry on, or just to talk.
And there you have it, guys. Cindy Placide. Placide. Cindy, thank you again. You've blessed us tremendously. You've been brave. You've been, like I said, the modern day Harriet Tubman. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
Keep
you.
going. Keep going. Keep saving lives
Absolutely.
because you are. You're a trooper. We appreciate you.
Thank
You know, So we're gonna go to a commercial break right now, Guy, because whoa, that's heavy duty stuff, Tammy. Let me tell
Yes, it
you,
is.
we've got a lot going on in this community, but Cindy, you're the catalyst for change. I can tell. I can see it. I feel it. I sense it.
you.
You
It
are. We
was
appreciate
a
you.
pleasure. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thanks. Show them your hat. YDG is the Young Democrats of Georgia. He is the president, the chairperson, the man who's in charge. He runs the show. He's from a little place called Huntsville, Alabama. Not too little, but he's a husband and he's a daddy. He's a daddy of a beautiful young baby, sweet baby. He's got a beautiful family. And he is about shaping communities, uplifting the next generation of change makers. So I'm going to let Devontae, welcome to the studio. We just want to let you take this away because you've got a lot to say. I know you came here straight from a meeting, a few meetings. So, welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank
You're
you
welcome.
for even let me be here and giving a platform to young black leaders. I say that because we don't get a lot of platforms.
Look, we need to know what is your title? What do you do? What is, you know, what is this all about? I mean, all of what you have going on.
I can't hear his mic as much, but go ahead. Sorry.
Okay. So you mean? Okay, so we've got in the studio Devontae Jennings. Devontae is a bold, visionary leader committed to empowering communities, shaping policy, and uplifting the next generation of change makers here in Georgia. He's wearing his hat. His hat tells it all. YDG, Young Democrats of Georgia. This young man I met many years ago, and let me tell you, I was so impressed by what he was doing community-wise that I connected with him, and he's been my little brother, my son, everything ever since. He's got a beautiful family. He's a husband, but more than all, he's a daddy. This young man is a daddy, guys. He came here from a meeting all the way down south of here, okay? But he came to the studio because that's how committed he is. And I just want to say thank you and welcome to the studio. Welcome to APAP Media. Thank you for what you do.
Thank you for uplifting Black leadership, because we don't get the platform like that at all.
Man, let me tell you. So, I see your shirt. Look, this young man represents.
Oh, you can see it. Oh, yeah, you can see it.
Absolutely. Yes. He represents everything uplifting our community. Tell us some of the things that you do. Tell the folks, tell the audience, because, I mean, they don't know you like I do. Mm-hmm. So tell them some of the things that you do, because you came here straight from a couple of meetings.
Mm-hmm. So in my day job, aside from being a dad, my day job is a youth organizing director for a nonprofit organization and a C4 organization called Men for Choice, where we mobilize young men between the ages of 18 and 28 in the fight for reproductive freedom. I am also, like you said, the president of the Young Democrats of Georgia. There we work on politics, everything in summer politics, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And also just, I say, a cigar enthusiast, a aficionado almost one day, maybe not yet. I still got a ladder. Where? Oh, okay. Somebody know what they talking about.
I don't know that part, but that's okay. She knows. You know?
Yes. So yeah, that's pretty much me in a nutshell. Just out here trying to, my biggest thing is making sure young Black people, but young Black men specifically, feel a place in politics, especially when we're not given a seat at the table, quite literally. So,
wow, Tammy, because I know Tammy is.
How can we help young Black men feel that they are a part of the change, that they are change agents? I am the mother of 3 amazing young men, and as we talk about the next step, because there's so much that we have to unpack with that, but with the next step within politics, how can we implore and encourage young Black men to get involved?
I think they have to understand, one, it comes down to the education piece. The whole rhetoric of get out and vote and just leaving it at that doesn't get the job done anymore. You got to think a lot of these kids, they've been spoiled with, I say spoiled in the only term I can come up with, but spoiled with a Black president. A lot of these kids who can vote now today don't remember a George Bush. They only remember a Barack Obama. So they don't really see that whole identity politics necessarily. So when you're like, this person is X race, to them, they came into the world with our race being shown in the White House. Yeah. So education is the biggest part. But then 2, we use year-round organizing. So the year-round organizing is being in the communities all year, 24/7, not just when it's time to come ask for a vote, not when we just need them, but year-round they're seeing us 24/7. And then I think more so somebody like yourself who has young men, getting them involved in an aspect in their life that they care about, because politics plays a part in everything. I think people have this misconception that like, oh, I don't care about politics. And it's like, you participate in politics every day. Every road you drive down, every gas you pump, every food to where you want to go buy a house, you playing a role in politics. So,
someone's making a decision, right?
Somebody's making a decision.
So why not you?
Why not you?
And that's what I tell them when I hear that craziness. You're right about that, Devontae, because I've spoken to young people, and yes, not picking on young men, but they will say stuff to me like, I didn't bother to vote because nobody's doing anything for me. And I'm like, no kidding. Really, like you just said, you drive down the road, you go to school or not, you work, you participate no matter how you want to say it. You buy them Air Jordans, whatever you're buying. Guess what? Someone can pump the brakes on you any minute now, right? Because isn't that what they're trying to do?
Yep.
So we need people like you. And I thank God for people like you. But guess what? We need to multiply you. we need to have thousands and hundreds of thousands of people like you. So how, like Tammy says, how do we really get our children, our young people interested? Because we have to hold them. Because again, when you say politics, they're like, please, they're the same. They're all the same thing. We don't know. How do you really, because you're young. Tammy, he's a baby. He could be your son or grandson, whatever.
My
And-
son.
It's the baby face. It's the baby.
No.
I'm kind of old. I'm old 20s. I'm late 20s now.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Late 20s.
He's really old.
My
You
back
can
is
still be
starting to
my
hurt.
Oh my God. Exactly. You could be my great grandson. So,
I can almost run to be governor almost. I'm getting up there.
You bet. Look, and you know what? That's what now you're talking. So this is what we're saying. We want to interest young people. How, do you go to the schools? You go to the community centers. Where do you have to meet these young folks where they are? Because I'm telling you, they don't want to hear anything until it hits them real hard.
Yeah, and I think being in the position I'm in now, that people get confused as they're like, oh, he's always been involved in politics, or he's always been like this. And I will tell you, no.
When did you get involved? Because that was my next question. So why did you keep my question? That's exactly. What age did you know that you're going to be the chairperson, the president, how did you know you're going to get involved? What caused you? What happened? What clicked?
Honestly, I didn't want to do any of this part. I just wanted, I remember going to, because at the time I had no health insurance. I was like 25, 26. No health insurance. And you got to go to one of those free clinic places where you can get your exams. Yearly exam was coming up. So I'm in there. And then there's an older white guy in there right in front of me. And of course, being behind somebody, I'm not eavesdropping, but I can hear the conversation, what's going on. So the lady's like, yeah, it's going to be $30. And then he was like, oh, I don't have $30. And once he was told he didn't have $30, the lady was just like, okay, next. And I don't know.
You were next.
Yeah. And I don't know what he needed, but he just looked like his face is like tattooed in my brain, because it struck an emotion to me that was like, that's not right. And that basically is what made me to understand that I don't like politics, but I must change policy, because healthcare is policy. So that's what snowballed into where we are now.
Okay. And again, from there into here, so who did you go talk to? You just didn't, after walking out of that space, you went straight into being involved in politics. How did you get connected? Did you go to your councilman? Who did you hook up with? How did that part really take place? Because a lot of these folks, parents are probably watching right now, wondering, you know what, I've got a 17-year-old at home who's about to graduate school, who already graduated, whatever, and I want them to be involved in stuff that's going to lead to their decision making. Because right now, that's what's happening. They're the next generation, and therefore it's critical that they know how this whole political stuff works. Because the other folks, and let's just be clear, the other folks, they have their children going to meetings with them since they were in the stomach.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? And they go, these kids don't have a clue, but they go. So we're disenfranchised, but we're not going to continue to use that excuse. We've got to exercise our rights. And our right is until they lock us down totally. How do we do it? What would you recommend to Tammy, for example, with her sons? Where does she take her sons? What's her next step with her sons?
I contacted the Young Democrats of Georgia, because it was just crazy, because I just remember being involved in high school, like a little bit, when the Obama time. Every young black man thought he was going to be Obama. Whether he liked politics or not, you just thought you were going to be Obama, so I got involved. From there, nobody was really connecting me with anybody, but I sent out 100 emails when I lived in Clayton County to every elected official, I mean, every elected official, 100 emails, and only one responded. That was Mayor Sartor from Jonesboro. Yep. And she was like, hey, yep. So she was like, I'm about to be running for mayor. And I was like, what do I do? And she was like, I want you to be on the campaign. So she threw me on the campaign trail with her. And from there, I helped get elected the first black male mayor, the first black female mayor in the city of Jonesboro. And once you start winning elections, it just,
That's what I'm talking about. So it's not only his handsome face, Tammy. He's got some thing to win, because I'm telling you, when I met him, now he lost all that hair, but he was just looking different. So someone is asking this question, and I'm going to ask it of you again, because we need you to answer this. Young black people to understand, really, how do they understand that their voice does matter? I mean, because again, they have been there, and I've heard, and you've heard it too.
Yeah.
They're like, I'm not doing it. I'm not voting. They have not voted, and that's why we are where we are today. What's that one phrase that you would say to them that would click with them? Because you're young, so they would listen to you. They're not going to listen to me too much. But what can I say to them that may resonate with them?
Of course, it's hard because everyone's a little bit different. So everyone has that one different chord. But the main thing is, what we always ask is like, do you know who's making decisions over your life? And the main one they go up to is, Donald Trump, Joe Biden. And we're like, no. Like, he is, but he's not. Do you know who your city council person is? Do you know who your congressional person is? Do you know do you know what a city council is, first of all? And most of the time they're going to be like, politician. You let them know what a city council person does, what a commissioner does. And slowly you'll start to see them connect the dots. Because once they see, okay, if this person is in control of this, I've been complaining about this and blaming Joe Biden, when really I should have been blaming you, who lives right across my neighbor is a city council member.
I can walk to him.
I can walk to them.
Yes.
Once they start to see how accessible these people are and how much power they really have, that's when you start to see people wake up like, oh, snap. I'm like, yeah, your commissioner has to live in your district. He probably lives around the corner from you. And he dealing with the budgets. He dealing with your roads. He's dealing with everything that's directly affecting you. And that's when, because I think people don't give young black men specifically credit enough for how smart they are. They're very smart.
Very smart.
Very smart. They'll draw a conclusion real quick.
In a hurry. But it's that disconnect.
I think it's important for us to take our children to the polls. I think for me, before my sons could vote, long before they were legally able to vote, I took them to the polls each time I voted, whether it was voting for electoral, for presidential race or just local, taking them to the poll, having them read that and understand why it is and what we're voting for. I think that's the thing that's the key too. So for me, it's making my sons aware that their decisions make a difference. When we talk to these local officials, when we meet and greet with them, we're asking those questions. We're asking the hard questions too. Is what are you going to do that's going to be the change? Why should I be involved with you and have me be attached to it? As you said, the mayor of Jonesboro, she is there. We were there line dancing, but she is there taking care of business in Jonesboro. She is fighting for her people. She's showing up when she needs to, not just when it's time to get a vote. She answers those hard questions when they're brought to her, and her efficacy and her ethics goes a long way. So when we talk about that, it's meeting the people. And so when we introduce our children to these change makers, we have to understand, to let them know that they may not be a Barack Obama, but they can be.
Of course.
Yeah.
And where did he come from? I mean, seriously, it had to start somewhere, right?
Yeah, he didn't get started till like 26.
Hello.
He was late to the game too. Like people confused like Obama, and it's crazy because a lot of people that I work with now, like younger people, I mean my age, they say those things. Man, I used to hate when my mama or my dad would always take me to the polls. But it's funny because it implants in their brain so much to where they hated going, but for some reason they always knew it was important for some reason that my mama, my daddy, my grandmama always drug me to the polls. I hear that a lot for people who really understand it. They were dragged to the polls.
Of course. And you know what? We cannot wait. We can't wait. Of course. We cannot wait for politicians or church leaders or teachers in the school to do all the heavy lifting. I mean, I am so fed up of that.
Yep.
Because what we have to do is start at the dinner table. Start talking about, not let those kids go to their rooms with their bloody devices and stay there and eat their bloody dinner and, you know, their meals. Get them at that dinner table. When they sit down to watch television, say, hey, son, my daughter, whoever, niece, nephew, granddaughter, grandson. Hey, guess what? Let us do this and get them involved. Everything that you're doing, community, when you go out to the community, because I see you with your wife and your baby, that little pretty little thing, she is right lugging behind you and your wife everywhere you're going because you're making sure you're planting seeds. Those seeds germinate.
That subconscious mind
It does.
so powerful. People don't understand.
Man.
It's so powerful.
Again, we've got to multiply because you're all the way down there in Clinton County, but I mean, I'm serious. We need you up here in Gwinnett. We need you in DeKalb.
Well, I'm back in Atlanta now. I'm back in Atlanta now.
Yes.
That's why you said Gwinnett. I was like, oh, we work with Gwinnett a lot. Shout out my boy Akbar.
There you go. Yes.
You know,
That's what I'm talking about.
yes.
That's what I'm talking about. Right there in Gwinnett. So, again, involvement in the schools, going out to the polls. We can't wait until election season.
Yep. You got to touch them. Like,
So,
get them involved.
you're going to be working, dude. I'm going to be.
I feel it now.
He's going to be like, oh, that's that crazy Sharon again. No, I'm not going to. Don't answer that phone.
I be working. You be working.
Let me tell you.
You be working. She'll be like, hey, this event, and this event, and this event. I'm like, oh, God.
We got to do it. We got to connect.
I love it, though.
I'm telling you, we got to do it because, look, we're on a mission. We're on a mission, and I'm sorry. I'll be anyway, but I'm making sure my people, everybody around me.
We have to learn to work together. And it's even though you've changed counties, the voice is still the same. The mission is still the same. And I think once we understand that together we can accomplish so much more, you know, it wasn't that they didn't go out to vote. A lot more things happened that we fought until the end. But the biggest thing is that we came together. So we need to come together more often and continue the voice, because we're giving voice to the voiceless when we have conversations like this again, when we have mayors and people who are elected officials who are showing up still for the constituents, still showing up and making sure that they are making changes, because those bills don't get passed from the government, from the presidential. So when we talk about Congress, we talk about these different things, but we need to educate our community about how involved we all need to get and continue. Don't just show up every 4 years.
Yep.
It has to be a monthly thing that we get together and have those hard conversations about
You're right.
how can we make changes.
That's so true.
in
But
the
if you're not
House,
at the table,
in the Senate, in different
You're on the
places.
menu.
you're on the menu.
Yep.
Exactly. That's my famous shout out, Donna McLeod. That's one of her favorite saying. If you're not at the table, you're on the menu. So therefore, look, and if you can't, if they have a table that there's no room for you, go build your own darn table.
Yep.
Yes, I say it right here on I'm speaking harmony, but I'm telling you, go build your own damn table.
Yes.
Go build your table and your chair and pull up. Okay? Let them see you pulling up.
And that's the
Show
thing.
up. Stop quivering.
We as a people, I feel
bold.
like we
Stand up.
I read a book called The Black Inferiority Complex. The myth of the Black Inferiority
Okay, yeah.
Complex.
Yeah.
And it's opened my mind to realize that we don't see how much power we actually have. And seeing the other side, or like other people, they are very entitled with their elected officials. I mean, working for some elected officials, the reason the people that get heard are the ones that pull up, they email, they call, but it's not number one, they pull up. Because one thing electeds don't really like, they don't like to hear the confrontation face to face most time.
Hello.
And I think we have a problem with it. We just like to kind of be like, and throw our hands up when it's like, no, them addresses is public. Those phone numbers are public. Pull up respectfully. Of course, I'm not saying just pull up,
Yeah.
but hey, I got to talk to you. I have a problem. I need to talk to you. And their job is to talk to you.
Of course. And if you email it and you don't get answers, let me tell you, just stand out quietly outside their office. Because guess what? If you stand there every morning, you take vacation for a week or whatever it is, and just make it your duty. Hello, my name is, and I'm here to see you. I need an appointment with you, please.
Say the deadly words. I am your constituent.
Hello.
You just see this like this.
Freak out.
Oh, what's the problem? What's the matter?
and put it on social media. Oh, Lord. So you see what I'm saying? We have access. We don't have excuses no more.
Yep.
We need to stop the excuses because that's what's happening. It's got us nowhere. We've got, and man, this is my topic.
Yeah.
Dude. That's what I'm telling you. I was so excited to have you up in here because this is what we need to do. Okay, we need to do this. We've got another busybody over here in the studio. She's a manager for one of our soon-to-be elected officials. But let me tell you, she's behind him and she's making sure things get done.
Mm-hmm. She read my shirt and knew what was up, so I knew she knew something. I knew she
did.
knew something. I was like, okay.
She sure did. And this is what we need to do. We just can do that peaceful. Thank you, Sir John Lewis. Respect.
Yes.
Because he paved the way for us. The Harriet Tubmans, and I won't say that enough. We've got the Rosa Parks, the Malcolm X's, the Martin Luther King, the Marcus Garveys, of the world, And as we wrap up, gosh, we're done. How can folks get in touch with you? Because there are people, now you got the airwaves blowing up because people are going, how can we reach him? Because we want to talk to him and other people. He needs to teach us. So you need to get your classes going, dude. Tell them how they can reach you.
Little old me. No. I think I can get my phone number out. 470-767-0177. Again, that's 470-767-0177. On Instagram at Devontae Jennings, DavanteJennings. Also on WhatsApp, I'm getting better at WhatsApp as well. I'm getting better because my connections are expanding. And people, but yeah, and then president@youngdemsga.org is my email. And yeah, contact me, holla at me. Regular dude, regular schmegler, just over here, one thing at a time.
Thank you so much,
Tammy,
for coming on and informing us and giving us hope that the next generation, as we go through where it comes on to not just to politics, but to civic leadership, to community building, it's so important for us to know that we are leaving our country, our dreams in the hands of people like you. So thank you so much for joining us on Speak Harmony. We truly appreciate you taking the time from your busy schedule, because we know there's a lot of work that you have to do, and you have a beautiful family that you need to go home to and rest and be with. But we want to just encourage you to keep going, that we are watching you and we see what you're doing, and we appreciate everything that you do day in and day out for the Democratic Party, for the young Democrats, and for the future generation.
Thank you. It made me feel all warm inside.
Yes. Yeah, but Tammy, I don't know if he missed one part of his whole MO. So let me drop this in there before you run, because he's the founder. Okay, he's the founder of the Young Democrats of Georgia Alumni and Associates. Okay, and has been instrumental in launching the YDG University. So guys, you wanna hook up with him? I'm sorry, his phone is going to be blowing up.
I'm looking forward to it.
Until next time, Tammy.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious.
So
we're done?
I guess.
Listen, I can't believe it's already been an hour for us to be
here.
It
is.
Time has just flown today. And we are just so grateful for both of our guests for joining us today on Speak Harmony on this dreary day here in Georgia. But it gives us hope. It gives us hope to see the people who have come into our studio, the community that we continue to build each Tuesday, the lives that we're touching online, in person, for the people who are hearing our voices and seeing our faces as we come together at Speak Harmony, as we create a network and a net worth within our community, as we continue to build a legacy and a dream. We thank you all for joining us here on Speak Harmony. And until next time and next week, here at APAP Media, our great and wonderful sponsors, APAP Media, we thank you. So here we go. One love, Speak Harmony.
Meetings of the mind, where wisdom is shared. Tamara and Sharon, a duo prepared to light up the path, to bridge every gap. Access meets opportunity, there's no time. heading back. Forward with fortitude, the future's in sight. Together we rise like stars in the night. Authenticity reigns, love leads the way. We're speaking in harmony every single day. Speak harmony, let your voice intertwine. So let's move forward, ever bold and true. With Sharon and Tamara, the vision breaks through.